Just when you think you've seen it all, the courtroom drama kicks off. The case is introduced by the court show host Jerome, and the presiding judge, Judge Lake, greets the participants and the audience with her usual flair. Mr. Johnson steps up, explaining that he's in court to cut through the fog of a nearly 2-decade emotional tug of war over the paternity of Amber May, firmly believing he's not the father. Buckle up, because this courtroom roller coaster is just leaving the station.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Johnson versus Carr May.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Mr. Johnson, you say the defendant, Mrs. Carr, has been playing an emotional DNA game with you over her daughter's paternity for the past 18 years. You've brought her to court to finally end this game and prove you are not her daughter's biological father.
Hold on to your hats. Things are about to get windy. Ms. Carr fires back with gusto, accusing Mr. Johnson of dodging DNA tests like they're dodgeballs and shirking his fatherly duties from day one. She suggests his denials are not about truth, but payback because she rejected him romantically. You won't believe what's coming up next.
You say that Mr. Johnson has been dodging a DNA test and his responsibilities as a father since the day you told him you were pregnant. You claim the only reason he is denying her is because you are married and will no longer sleep with him. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you thought daytime TV was juicy, wait till you hear this soap opera plot. Judge Lake digs into their past relationship, or lack thereof. Mr. Johnson clarifies they were never an item, but had a brief fling that led to Ms. Carr's pregnancy, sparking an immediate paternity controversy. The plot thickens. Keep watching. The next part is a real doozy.
We had sex one time.
Okay.
One time. It was a lot of touchy-feely before, and the one time we had sex, it was, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
Honor's not true.
Well, do you agree that you had sex with him just one time?
I agree that we had sex on multiple times. We have had sex
And
more
at
than
some
one
point
time.
you realized you pregnant?
Yes.
Just when Mr. Johnson thought he was out, they pull him back in. The conversation gets intense as Mr. Johnson recounts a crucial conversation where Ms. Carr's family allegedly informed him that another man was confirmed as the father through a DNA test, leading him to initially back off. Stick around. It gets even more tangled.
Do you think it's yours? It was just, I'm moving to Ohio. And
Your
that
Honor, I
was the end
remember
of the
this conversation verbatim.
No.
Like, this is something I cannot forget. I remember the whole day like it was yesterday, crying and snotting. I told my family member after I got off the phone with Miss Carr, I could have a baby on the way.
Nobody else in the family knew about him being a possibility. I had her on the delivery table. That's when I told my mom.
Grab your popcorn. This is getting good. Mr. Johnson describes how he got emotionally hooked into Amber's life over the years, despite the swirling paternity doubts, celebrating her milestones like a true dad. The unresolved paternity issue casts a long shadow, though. Don't go anywhere. The emotional fireworks are just starting.
And you did not know this, Mr.
No,
Johnson?
ma'am, I didn't.
Mr. Johnson has been active in her life periodically.
At one point in time, after her father comes to my house and said that I wasn't the father, I move on with my life. Maybe about 5-6 years later, I had my first daughter. They see how I'm interacting with her, and so I guess they say, this is your daughter now.
You thought daytime court was just gavels and legal jargon, huh? Judge Lake's patience wears thin as she questions why, after all the daddy duties, Mr. Johnson still hadn't taken a DNA test. She points out the absurdity of doing everything but the one thing that could have settled all questions. The suspense is killing me. What happens next will shock you.
You know what I'm saying? I'm full-blown father. I'm school clothes, shoes, everything.
If you're a full-blown father and you're throwing birthday party, what brings you to court today? You still have a doubt?
I got a phone call about a year or two later requesting the DNA test. Now, after I'm full-blown father mode, why get a DNA test now? Why not when I asked for
I want
one?
the answers to both of those questions.
Now, from the mouth of babes, or at least teenagers, Amber May steps into the courtroom, shedding light on her side of the story with memories of Mr. Johnson that range from sparse to fond, particularly a birthday party that seemed more splash than substance. You'll want to hear what she says next. It's heart-wrenching and heartwarming all at once.
Because he asked to contact my mother. He has told me to tell my mother to call him.
And so you said, I did abandon you. I take responsibility for my action, but it's a lot you don't know. And then Amber writes back, well, I'm of age. Please enlighten me, Brandon. And then you say, you may not be my daughter. We were supposed to get a paternity test about 4 or 5 years ago. Your biological father and the man you know to be your father, you wanted them to be at your graduation.
Yes, ma'am.
Drum roll, please. For the big reveal, the DNA test results are finally announced by Judge Lake.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Johnson, you are her father.
The courtroom is buzzing with anticipation as the curtain rises on the drama of Moyet versus Lester. Miss Moyet steps up, ready to drop some serious courtroom drama, claiming Mr. Lester, a cool 20 years her senior, is the dad of 3-month-old Nyla. She's not just here to chat. She's gunning for half the child-rearing cash because, according to her, Mr. Lester's been about as helpful as a chocolate teapot. She lays it all out for Judge Lake, who's all ears.
Ms. Moyet, you're here in court today to prove that Mr. Lester, a man who is 20 years older than you, is the father of your 3-month-old daughter, Nyla Moyet. You claim Mr. Lester has done nothing for your daughter, therefore you're suing for half of child-rearing expenses.
Yes, Your Honor.
Enter Mr. Lester, the accused baby daddy, who throws a curveball straight away. He insists he and Miss Moyet were never an item, and she was not exactly playing a one-woman game at the time of conception. He's so sure he's not the father that you'd think he had a crystal ball. Mr. Lester is standing his ground, setting the stage for a paternity clash that's got the audience leaning in.
That you and Ms. Moyet were never in a relationship and that she had multiple sex partners her time of conception, so you are 100% certain that you are not the father of baby Nyla. So Ms. Moyet, what has been Mr. Lester's involvement in baby Nyla's life since her birth?
Miss Moyet counters with a low blow, detailing the scanty contributions Mr. Lester has made. A few diapers and a onesie that screams boy in a sea of pink. It's all diapers and onesies, and she's got receipts literally. She's been footing the bill for baby Nyla's buffet of needs, and she's got the paperwork to prove it. Judge Lake's intrigued and asks to see the evidence. The plot thickens, and the calculator comes out.
Besides the fact of 3 cases of diapers, a onesie that he bought for her, which was a boy outfit, other than that, me and my mother have been providing for her food, milk, and everything and things like that. I also have evidence here showing you that I have been buying, providing clothes, food, cribs,
Let me
everything.
see that evidence.
Oh, but there's a twist. Miss Moyet drops a bombshell about her baby-making strategy. It seems she had marked her calendar for a very special visit to Mr. Lester's love shack on peak ovulation day. Despite his protests, she's like, hey, I told you I wanted a baby. It's a he said, she said, with a side of baby drama, and the stakes are as high as the drama.
When you told him about the pregnancy, what was his reaction, Ms. Moyet?
He was not happy. I actually planned this pregnancy. I went over to his house the day I was ovulating, okay? And I let him know, babe, I'm ovulating. I want to have a baby. We did nothing.
That is not true.
Yeah, we did nothing to prevent Nyla. To make matters even worse,
Just when you think it can't get more soap opera, Mr. Lester admits they still hooked up recently. Protection-free, no less. This guy's memory seems as patchy as his claims of using protection. This bombshell has the court gasping because it ties him right back to the scene of the conception. The judge's eyebrows are somewhere near the ceiling, and everyone's waiting for the next shoe to drop.
Is that true?
Yes, that's true. Yesterday we did have sex. That is true. Prior to that,
Yesterday when you had sex, did you use protection?
yeah.
no. I have no reason to lie. I planned my baby's pregnancy. I planned this. I wanted to be with him.
What she's saying is you were having unprotected sex with her then, and even since this child's birth, that you are a possible father if in fact that sex occurred during the window of conception.
Mr. Lester tries to wiggle out of this sticky situation by listing his doubts about Nyla's paternity like it's a grocery list. He's got suspicions galore, from Miss Moyet's mysterious boyfriend stories to her frequent hangouts with the neighborhood guy. The court's got more doubt than a conspiracy theory convention, but Mr. Lester's tales are starting to sound like he's grasping at straws.
You 45 years old.
Absolutely.
When a woman says to you, I want to have your baby, and you say, no, I really don't want you to, and you're still having sex without protecting yourself, you're setting yourself up.
That's a lie. You've never used
Your
a
Honor.
condom. Now, with the girls that he's cheating on me with, he used condom, but he's never used a condom with me, and you know that. So stop lying.
Drum roll, please. The DNA results are in, and wouldn't you know it?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Lester, you are Nyla's father.
Yes. Yes.
Ma'am.
Didn't
Didn't I tell you?
Ma'am.
Didn't I tell you?
need to be... Ma'am, I understand you're upset.
Judge Lake kicks things off with a smooth, you may be seated, setting the stage for what's about to unfold. Ron, with his usual flair, pipes up with a cheery, hello, Your Honor, as if he's just walked into a surprise party. The courtroom, already buzzing, gears up for the drama about to play out.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Krieger, Lee v. Dittmer.
Thank Thank you, Ron. Good day, everyone. Ms. Krieger, you say that your mother's ex-boyfriend, Mr. Dittmer, has denied that you were his daughter for much of the past 34 years due to his anger over paying child support.
Ms. Krieger steps up, dropping a bombshell that Mr. Dittmer, her mother's ex, has been dodging the dad title due to his grudge over child support payments for the past 34 years. She and her mom are here to finally set the record straight with DNA proof in hand. The courtroom braces for what's next, knowing this isn't just any family barbecue squabble.
Now you and your mother have brought him here to prove that he is your biological father. Mr. Dittmer, you say you accidentally agreed to pay child support for Ms. Krieger, and you claim that you never believed she was your daughter because her mother, Ms. Lee, cheated on you throughout your 12-year relationship.
Mr. Dittmer lays out his side of the story with a tale of certified mail mix-ups and unexpected court defaults, painting a picture of a man more lost than a tourist without Google Maps. He claims innocence in this parental drama, setting the scene for a showdown that might just need more than popcorn.
They sent certified mail to my mother's house and I wasn't there. I was in Colorado. And when the certified mail came, my stepdad signed, so they held court without me and found me in default because I wasn't there. Something I was running from the law from. I paid my bond to get out of jail. They said, you ain't going nowhere. The friend of the court has a hold on you.
Now, the evidence. Photos that Ms. Lee claims will prove Mr. Dittmer is the father, based on baby pictures where the family resemblance is supposedly uncanny. Mr. Dittmer begs to differ, leaving everyone squinting at the photos like they're trying to read the fine print on a shady contract.
Your Honor, I have pictures right here that will prove, without a doubt,
Let me see that evidence, please, Ron. These are pictures of
Jamie as a baby.
Jamie as a little girl. The next picture is
Mr.
Dittmer. And you believe they look exactly alike.
Look at him, yeah. How can he deny her?
Do you see the similarity?
Not really, Your Honor.
The plot thickens as Ms. Lee admits to past romances, but insists she was faithful during the critical time. Mr. Dittmer counters with accusations of her playing the field during their 12-year relationship. It's like watching a tennis match, where both players are convinced the other one's got a foot fault.
Anyone else?
Yes, I was. At that time, I was not. I was very close to his family. I met him when I was 14, Your Honor. His family was my family.
Everybody, when there's babies born, compare and say how much they look like me on my dad's side of the family also. How could they look like me if I have a different dad and that's from my dad's side of the family?
Judge Lake cuts through the tension, reminding everyone that kids don't come with a guarantee to look like their parents. It's a moment of sanity in a sea of soap opera-worthy revelations, and the courtroom takes a collective breath, wondering whose narrative will float.
Well, every child is different.
Well, why would she trick me into paying child support like that, Your Honor? I mean, I wasn't even at the hospital when Jamie was born.
You most certainly were.
No, I wasn't.
Oh my.
No, I was not.
That upsets you, Ms. Lee? You don't, because he doesn't
Lying, Your Honor.
No, I'm not.
Is he on her birth certificate?
No, he's not.
Ms. Krieger reveals she only learned of Mr. Dittmer's paternity doubts in 2007, adding another layer to this emotional lasagna. Her recount of the past suspicions adds a personal touch to the saga, and it's clear this episode is more gripping than a season finale cliffhanger.
At first, it was just all of a sudden I was hearing all this, how I was his kid, and I kind of backed off. I've always been raised with him as my father. Before we moved to Monroe, he used to occasionally come by and visit us outside because he wasn't allowed in the house.
No, Your Honor, I fought for 2 years to get visitation to see these children. I went through mediators. She kept saying that I would kidnap the kids, that she'd never see them again. It took me 2 years.
Mr. Dittmer doubles down on his doubts, blaming Ms. Lee's supposed flings for his uncertainty. As he recounts his version of the story, it's like listening to someone explain a conspiracy theory, part disbelief, part intrigue.
It's because her mother was messing around with another fella about the time that Jamie was conceived.
No,
I believe
I
a couple
was not,
of the fellas.
Your Honor.
Yes, you were.
I had been going to church, Your Honor, with his mother, giving my life to the Lord, and that is how it happened, because I went off the pill. I said, I'm not having sex again until I'm married. He knew I was not on protection.
She's acting like a born-again virgin or something. That's not true, Your Honor.
Mr. Dittmer discusses the heavy burden of child support payments, sounding like a man who's been through the financial ringer. The courtroom sympathizes, but can't help but wait for the other shoe to drop, knowing there's always another twist in the narrative pipeline.
We settled for half of that, and so I paid it off to get it off my back so they'd leave me alone.
So you paid the amount of $6,500
yes, ma'am.
to settle your child support debt.
Yes, yep.
A $3,000 child support debt.
Well, they kept chasing me down. They wanted to throw me in jail all the time, and they kept threatening me. Every time I'd get a job, they'd want money, you know. they hounded me forever.
Emotional damage is front and center as Ms. Krieger discusses the impact of the paternity dispute on her life, revealing a tale of familial bonds tested by accusations and financial strife. It's a tear-jerker moment, with the audience reaching for tissues and bracing for what emotional roller coaster comes next.
No, more than that. More than that.
Well, I mean, the fact is he's giving you some, because let's be honest, you all are accusing him of being about the money, the fact that he had to pay money, child support. I mean, he's paid the child support, he's even paid it all. Well, the fact that he's even also giving you money on top of that seems to be...
When I was little, I asked for
I
some
even give her
rollerblades.
daughter money for Christmas too, my granddaughter.
Ms. Krieger pours her heart out, feeling diminished by the years of uncertainty and Mr. Dittmer's hurtful comments. The courtroom hangs on her every word, prepping themselves for the revelation that's about to shake things up even more.
When you were younger, did you feel like you were treated different?
He never denied my other sisters, but he never paid a dime on them. So that's why it seems like it's kind of money. And then when he did help me, he'd always be griping. Well, I don't even know if I'm yours, but I just gave you 20 bucks to help you buy some diapers. And why ask him for help? I mean, he's just got it in the back of his mind. I'm not his kid. It makes me feel worthless and like it's a lot of emotional abuse.
Judge Lake signals that it's time for the big reveal. The DNA test results are in.
Mr. Dittmer, you are her father.
The courtroom gears up for what looks to be an epic showdown. The case of Smethers versus Stevens is called to order by the court. The plaintiff, Ms. Smethers, is beyond devastated because Mr. Stevens stubbornly refuses to accept that he is the biological father of her son, Adrian. There's an electric tension in the air, like we're at the season finale of your favorite drama series.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Smethers versus Stevens.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Smethers, you have dragged the defendant to court because you are devastated that he refuses to accept that he is your son, Adrian's biological father. You claim today's DNA test results will have a dramatic impact on your future as a family.
Ms. Smethers is putting all her chips on today's DNA test, folks. She explains that the DNA test results are crucial for her family's future. Mr. Stevens, on the other hand, argues that just one look at him and the baby is all the proof anyone needs to see that he's definitely not the father. And to top it off, he accuses Ms. Smethers of playing musical bedrooms. Get ready, because the pot's about to be stirred even more.
You say that one look at you and the baby is all anyone needs to see that you are not the father. And if that's not enough, you claim the plaintiff slept with another man right before she told you she's pregnant. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's roll back the tape on their rocky romance. The relationship history between Ms. Smethers and Mr. Stevens is discussed, showing they met during GED classes and have had a roller coaster of a relationship, complete with sneaky accusations of cheating from both sides. Fasten your seatbelts. This emotional ride is just picking up speed.
And we had our first daughter. After that, it went from good to bad. Mr. Stevens started cheating on me. I was always at home with the baby. You know, he was always out with girls.
But I only cheated on her because, like, for example, like I would go through her phone. She would have messages erased and messages that didn't make sense. On her social medias, she would have just type in a letter, or you can go to the recent search, who you searched up on that phone, and so I would see her exes on there, so I didn't trust her.
Story time with a twist as Ms. Smethers spills the tea on the pregnancy announcement. The moment Mrs. Smethers discovered she was pregnant and informed Mr. Stevens' detail. Initially, Mr. Stevens was over the moon, but later, doubts about paternity crept in due to Ms. Smethers' later confession of a potential other baby daddy. Keep watching. The plot thickens from here.
I did open up and say that I was with another man, but I never said that AJ was not his.
Even though you didn't say it, could it be true?
No. It was, my conception date was between October 7th and the 11th, or the 12th.
Here comes the drama as doubts and daddy issues take center stage. Tensions escalate as Ms. Smethers discusses Mr. Stevens' relationship with Adrian despite his paternity doubts. Mr. Stevens admits he's been playing dad, but is haunted by his disbelief due to the child's lack of family resemblance. Just when you think it can't get more complicated, it does.
So, what is Mr. Stevens' relationship like with Adrian?
He's a good dad to him. You know, when he takes the other two, he's always acted like a father figure to him. He's just had his doubts. He always comes out and says, like, he's too white, he can't be my baby, but I mean, he still stepped up and took the father role.
Judge Lake throws in a dash of praise amidst the chaos. She discusses the importance of Mr. Stevens' role in Adrian's life despite his doubts, commending his commitment to the child. Mr. Stevens talks about the emotional turmoil of seeing another man when he looks at Adrian. Buckle up, we're heading to the climax with the DNA results coming up.
So even though you're there 22 months, the past 22 months, you're there, try to treat Adrian just like the the other children. But when you're with him, are you constantly looking at him and comparing features? And are you having constant reminders?
A lot of the times, but I try not to because it messes with. That gives me more doubt, and like I just don't want that. Like I want me and him to have a bond. Like I want us to be able to go fishing. I want us to be able to go hunting and do stuff together.
And that upsets you?
Yes, ma'am.
Enter the wild card witness, Ms. Craig, who's about to shake things up. A key witness, Ms. Craig, is brought into the courtroom. She drops a bombshell by testifying that Ms. Smethers had expressed doubts about Adrian's paternity to her, which contradicts everything Ms. Smethers has said so far. The courtroom is buzzing with anticipation as we await the decisive DNA test results.
Smethers, your friend, Ms. Craig, is in court today. She's a witness that I'd like to hear. Jerome, will you please escort Ms. Craig into the courtroom?
Yes.
Ms. Craig, thank you for joining us today. Ms. Craig, how do you know Ms. Smethers?
I've known Ms. Smethers for about 10 years. We've always been really close friends.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, the grand reveal. The DNA test results are revealed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Stevens, you are the father.
Oh, what a hearty hello from our ever-charismatic judge, followed by the unveiling of the case, Salvo versus Gonzalez. This juicy setup introduces us to the intense paternity dispute between Miss Salvo and Mr. Gonzalez concerning their adorable one-year-old Amaya. Oh, it's gonna be a wild ride.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Salvo versus Gonzalez.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Salvo, you claim that around the time you conceived your one-year-old daughter, Maya, you carried on a sexual relationship with the defendant, Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just when you thought daytime TV couldn't get any spicier, Miss Salvo lays it all out, claiming she and Mr. Gonzalez were more than just passing acquaintances when she got pregnant with her daughter, Amaya. She's on a mission to prove he's the dad, driven by her fear of Amaya growing up fatherless. Cue the emotional music and close-up shots of teary-eyed audience members. Grab your tissues. This is just the beginning.
Desperately want to prove Mr. Gonzalez is her biological father because it will break your heart if she has to grow up without a dad.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Gonzalez, you state you're also hoping Amaya is your daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
But because of Miss Salvo's repeated lies, you have no idea if it's true.
Here's where it gets tasty. Mr. Gonzalez steps up, hoping against hope he's the daddy, but also throwing shade with claims of Miss Salvo's not-so-exclusive dating schedule during baby-making season, including a scandalous liaison with his best bud. Oh, the drama! The courtroom's buzzing, and so is my popcorn maker.
You argue that Miss Salvo had sex with multiple men, including your best friend, and any one of them could be her child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Miss Salvo, how involved has Mr. Gonzalez been in your daughter's life thus far?
Hold on to your hats, folks. Miss Salvo isn't having any of Mr. Gonzalez's deflections, insisting he's been MIA in little Amaya's life, even though he knows deep down he's her pops. But Mr. Gonzalez fires back, claiming their casual hangouts were more Netflix and chill than she admits. Who to believe? This plot is thicker than my grandma's chili.
I can't stand him. He knows Amaya's his daughter, but he refuses to take care of him. I've never, ever had sex with any Hispanic man but him. I've heard black people. I don't like Hispanic men. I was intoxicated at the time. I was drunk, he came over, he got me at the right time.
Okay.
And just when you think you've seen it all, Mr. Gonzalez drops a story about a bizarre run-in with Miss Salvo's mom that brings the house down. Awkward laughter, embarrassed glances, and all. It's a comedic relief we didn't know we needed amidst the baby daddy drama.
We had sex. I was
thirsty. Did you use protection?
No, ma'am. I got up. I went to get something to drink in the kitchen. When I opened the fridge, I was naked. Her mom saw me. Her mom was like, wow. Mom didn't get mad at me or nothing.
Wow.
All right.
You were naked in her kitchen and she said, wow.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead with your details, because I will say this, you have come prepared for court with your details.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hold the phone. The plot thickens as the convo shifts to other potential fathers. Enter the DNA test results that kick Miss Salvo's ex to the curb, confirming he's not the father. Now it's all eyes on Mr. Gonzalez. The suspense is killing me, and I bet you're on the edge of your seat too.
Well, you know the only way to truly exclude a potential father in a paternity situation is a DNA test.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you test your ex at all?
I did test him.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, and what happened?
He's not the father.
Well, that's what your evidence is, Miss Salvo. Okay, so you had your ex tested, and it would reveal that he was excluded as a possibility.
Yes.
Bam! The DNA test results are in. And guess what?
Mr. Gonzalez, it has been determined by this court that you are not the father.
Mr. McCrory just dropped a bombshell about his doubts regarding his son Keith's paternity, all thanks to some jaw-dropping results from a previous paternity test about his daughter. Yep, you heard that right. He reveals that these doubts have thrown his marriage onto the rocky cliffs of uncertainty, emphasizing just how high the stakes are in this courtroom drama. You can almost hear the collective gasp from the crowd. What's next, you ask? Well, strap in because this roller coaster is just getting started.
You have good reason to doubt your son Keith's paternity, and now your marriage is on the rocks.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. McCrory, you claim your daughter's results surprised you, but you're confident your husband fathered your 3-year-old son, and you hope to prove it today. In your court papers, it says you all broke up for a few days around Keith's conception. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any spicier, Ms. McCrory steps up to the confession booth. She admits to a little rendezvous without protection during a temporary split with her hubby, revealing key info that throws a wrench into the already murky paternity waters regarding her son. This confession is a game changer, folks, introducing the spicy possibilities of another dad in the mix for little Keith Jr. Buckle up, because the courtroom is about to turn into a soap opera set.
Did you sleep with anyone else? Were you intimate with anyone else?
Yes, I was.
Did you use protection?
No.
Had you ever told Mr. McCrory about?
No, I didn't.
You felt like we're broken
It's
up.
my business.
But when you get pregnant,
The bed wasn't even like cold, like it was, we just broke up. Like, I mean, if me and her, if something happens to her and she dies today, I'm not gonna have a new woman in the bed 3 days later because, to death do us part.
The judge, with a tone that could cut glass, points out Ms. McCrory's bold claims about the paternity of her son, Keith Jr., mirroring her previous overly confident, yet ultimately busted claims about their daughter. It's like deja vu all over again, but with more at stake. This little tidbit has everyone questioning her credibility and wondering if history is repeating itself. Hold on to your gavels, ladies and gentlemen. Things are heating up.
we're on the paternity part.
And Your Honor.
We're on the part where you find out you're
I wasn't
pregnant
married
and you
at the
slept
time.
with 2. No, we're
just-
not on the marital part.
Well, the fact is, it's his kid. 1,000% sure.
You're that certain.
Yes.
But you were also very certain when it came to Nevaeh. I remember this attitude. I don't forget. You acted just like this the last time you were in court about Nevaeh.
Just when we thought we'd seen it all, out comes a scandal over some Facebook pictures that Ms. McCrory posted, deemed way too hot for Mr. McCrory's liking. This segment of the show highlights the trust issues simmering between them, adding a dash of personal drama to the legal brew. It's like watching a reality TV show, but with legal consequences. And guess what? There's more drama brewing just around the corner.
I mean, Your Honor, these are not
Thank
pictures
you.
that a husband would want on her Facebook. I mean,
So these are photos that you're afraid she's also sending to men.
There's nothing wrong with that picture.
yes, Your Honor,
No,
I am.
'cause
I
it's not-
mean, the first one was just like not too long ago.
I wasn't even with him.
The first
and that's
one
just pictures,
was like
those pictures have been on Facebook
less than 6 months
for
ago.
years, and I don't do that stuff no more.
In a heart-wrenching twist, Mr. McCrory pours his heart out about his friendship with the man Ms. McCrory got cozy with during their break. Talk about awkward. His words paint a picture of betrayal and a marriage hanging by a thread, shedding light on his shaken view of fatherhood and partnership. The emotional stakes are sky high, and it's about to get even more intense. Grab your tissues.
This was supposed to be my friend and her friend. He comes over our house, he chills out, he would come to the house and drink with us and crash on the couch for the night.
And this is the person she slept with?
If she's lying to me and it's not my son, I'm not gonna stay with her. I'm gonna leave her. I mean, I'm not gonna be with somebody who lied to me about my son.
So the stakes are that high?
Yes.
Tears are flowing, and not just from the onions you're cutting for dinner. Ms. McCrory is a waterfall in court, completely overwhelmed by the accusations flying and the seismic shifts in her husband's trust post, their last court escapade. It's a pivotal moment that tugs at the heartstrings, showing just how much this case has frayed their emotional fabric. You might want to hold off on that popcorn. Things are about to get even more tear-jerky.
Come on back in. What's making you so emotional, man?
Because it's his kid.
And what, you just feel like you're beat down by the accusations, or what, you have so much on you?
Because I feel bad that I don't know who her dad is.
And that case, you feel like affected the way husband feels about your son.
Yes.
And that's upsetting you.
Yes, it does.
The plot thickens with the juiciness of a primetime thriller as a lie detector test reveals Ms. McCrory was less than truthful about her extracurricular love interests. The courtroom is buzzing, and the tension could be cut with a knife. This bombshell adds layers of doubt and intrigue right before the big paternity reveal. Trust me, you'll want to see what happens next. This is better than any season finale.
We have administered that lie detector test, and I have the results for you. Would you like to hear them?
Yes, Your Honor.
These results were prepared by a licensed polygraph examiner. Ms. McCrory, you were asked from 2013 until the present, have you slept with anyone other than one man you admitted to your husband? You admitted that you did.
Yeah, I did.
Who is that person?
To someone else.
All eyes are glued as we reach the climax of this courtroom saga. The paternity test results are in.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. McCrory, you are the father.
Yeah, I told you so.
So here we go. Judge Lake kicks things off with a cheery hello, as if we're at a garden party and not a courtroom drama. Ms. Fuel steps up with a big claim. Mr. Burnett is her biological father, and he's been denying it just to throw shade at her mom. She's not just here for the drama, though. She wants some serious closure.
This is a case of Fuel v. Burnett.
Thank you. Good day, everyone. Miss Fuel, you say that Mr. Burnett is refusing to admit that he is your biological father. You say the only reason he's denying you is because he would rather drag your mother's name through the mud than take responsibility for his actions.
Enter Mr. Burnett, cool as a cucumber, completely denying he's Ms. Fuel's dad. He admits he and her mom were an item once upon a time, but hints that the lady had a few other gentleman callers. So who really knows? The plot thickens, and you can cut the tension with a knife.
You admit to having a sexual relationship with her mother, but say there are many other guys, and you couldn't possibly be her father.
Exactly.
Ms. Fuel, so you're 31 years old. What happened that made you finally want to establish paternity?
Well, Your Honor, in September of 2015, my brother was murdered.
Ms. Fuel isn't here to play games. She shares a heart-wrencher about her brother's murder, turning her world upside down and setting her on this path of unresolved daddy issues. It's her raw, emotional story versus Mr. Burnett's chill denial. Grab your tissues, folks. This is the real tearjerker part.
That really opened my eyes. I mean, I went through a deep, dark depression. I've lost 90 pounds just off of depression and stress. It's opening my eyes. Life is really short. I shouldn't even be here. I shouldn't even have to bring him here to prove that he's my father. I just want closure, Your Honor. That's all I want.
Twist alert! Mr. Burnett seems genuinely surprised that Ms. Fuel thinks he could be her father. It's all about missed signals and years of radio silence. This bit shows just how messy communications can get when you leave things unsaid. Seriously, ever heard of a phone call, folks?
Mr. Burnett, that she's just badgering you.
That's what I believe.
Why do you think she would even do that?
I don't have no idea really why. You know, she's been my knee.
Through marriage?
Yes.
So when were you told that she believed you potentially could be?
I've never heard of it until like about 2 years ago.
Really? You didn't talk to my mom when I was a kid?
Never talk to your mom about nothing?
Just when you think it can't get any wilder, Ms. Fuel drops a bombshell. She claims Mr. Burnett once drunkenly announced he was the dad at a party while her mom was in labor. Mr. Burnett's like, nope, never happened. It's her word against his, and the courtroom's eating it up.
My mom told me the night she was in labor, he was at a party and he was going around telling everybody, oh, Michelle's at the hospital having my baby.
That's a lie.
31 years ago.
That's a lie.
So she admitted to having a relationship with him?
Yeah.
I've never been in no relationship with her mom.
So did you always grow up knowing he was your father even though he would call you his niece?
At the age of 7, this same family member told me that he was my father. My mom never...
They lying.
Time for the social media circus. Ms. Fuel and Mr. Burnett have been throwing digital punches, and now all their dirty laundry is getting a public airing in court. It's a full-on tweet war turned courtroom showdown. Popcorn? Anyone?
His daughter right there, posted a meme that said something about fathers ain't. She knows he hasn't been in none of his 3 kids' life either.
Whatever.
He's a deadbeat father.
Okay.
It's what I was told, and I commented 100. That's true.
Does anybody have any of these messages? Ron, can you hand me that evidence, please?
Here you go, Your Honor.
This is after her Facebook post.
The first one starts, Mr. Burnett says, "Stop it, Toy, there ain't no proof."
Mr. Burnett plays the forgetful card, denying any and all father-daughter dance promises and claiming he never agreed to foot the bill for a DNA test. Ms. Fuel insists he's fibbing. The he said, she said gets juicier by the minute. Who needs reality TV when you have this?
And have the father and daughter dance with me, but he did not show up.
That's never been
You
said
never
to me.
said that?
No.
We're under oath, right?
Yeah, we sure are. I hope so.
You never told me?
No.
You never told me you was gonna...
No, she's not my daughter. Why would I show up at a father-daughter dance?
Well, maybe because you were her uncle and you knew she didn't have a father.
No.
Did you ask him because you believe truly that he's your biological father?
I didn't ask him. He offered. He said, I would be honored to have that first dance with you.
Drum roll, please. The DNA results are in.
Mr. Burnett, you are not her father.
Apologize. I'm sorry.
Sorry. It's okay. There's no apologies. It's all right.
Ms. Whittier steps up, full of fire, claiming Mr. Reed is the dad of her almost 2-year-old son. Mr. Reed, on the other hand, is throwing some serious shade with his medical doubts, causing all sorts of drama and chaos in their love life. Miss Whittier is on a mission, though. She's all in to proving he's the father and settle this soap opera once and for all.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
Case of Whittier versus Reed.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Whittier, you say that you are sure Mr. Reed is the father of your 22-month-old son, Lucas, but the defendant's paternity doubts have led to confiding and tension in your relationship.
Now, hold up, this next bit is juicy. Mr. Reed dives deep, sharing his emotional roller coaster over his bond with little Lucas. But those pesky doubts about being the bio dad are gnawing at him. Picture this. Their romance kicked off like a scene from a movie, with Mr. Reed playing hero during a faux drowning mishap. Talk about an icebreaker. They've had their ups and downs, including Mr. Reed taking a timeout from the relationship, leaving both of them in a sea of emotion.
Mr. Reed, you believe it is medically impossible that you are Lucas's father. You say you bonded with him at birth and have taken care of him and loved him every time you look at Lucas. All right, Ms. Whittier, if Mr. Reed didn't have this doubt, where do you think the two of you would be right now?
I think we would be married, moving on with our lives. The conflict that constantly drags our family down.
Just when you thought it couldn't get spicier, enter the ex with a vengeance. Ms. Whittier's former flame throws in a scandalous twist by sending a racy video, cranking up Mr. Reed's jealousy to 11. This guy starts thinking the worst, fueled by neighborhood gossip, leading him to bounce and shack up with an old flame, who, let's just say, isn't on team paternity. All the while, Miss Whittier is dealing with some serious baby drama that's putting their future on the line.
Jumps in the pool, so I'm laying in a lawn chair, tan on. And here she goes. I look up, she's in the pool, and I'm right behind her, and I come up looking for her, and she's swimming around.
That's so cute.
It's adorable. I love that child also.
You obviously introduced yourself to your real-life superhero.
Yes, we had dinner later that night. Didn't see each other for about a week. He was there for a reason and I couldn't get him off my mind. So I called and we spent quite a bit of time together.
Breathe deep, because here comes a real nail-biter. After dodging a major health scare with a blood clot, Ms. Whittier's pregnancy goes DEFCON 1, high-risk style. Mr. Reed, maybe feeling a pang of guilt or heroics, comes rushing back to play the supportive partner through a super tense hospital vigil. Enter baby Lucas, arriving in a storm of stress and sporting a rare case of albinism, which has Mr. Reed scratching his head because nobody in his family photo album is flipping through albino genetics. Meanwhile, there's a legal mess because Ms. Whittier is still technically hitched to another guy. Drama, drama, drama.
They keep trying to skip over the part I'm asking about. So you're pregnant now. Your ex sends you a picture, a text.
It was a video.
Video?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was in the video, Mr. Reed?
He was having sex with somebody. Outright, it showed everything.
Your ex sent a video of him having sex with somebody else.
Yeah,
I think he was trying to make me jealous and make me come back to him.
Are you keeping up? Because it's about to get even wilder. In the courtroom, some brainiac on albinism lays down the genetic law, throwing everyone for a loop on what it means for little Lucas. Mr. Reed's still on the fence, even with all the science talk, but the air's thick with emotion as both parents tangle with what all this means for their pint-sized plot twist. Stick around, the real bombshell is just around the corner.
So Mr. Reed was not able to put his name on the birth certificate because by law, your husband is presumed to be father of the child.
A man I have never laid eyes on.
So they put your husband's name on Lucas's?
They put unknown because I wouldn't give them my husband's name. I left my husband and haven't been in contact with him.
But you're not legally divorced?
No.
And now, for the grand finale, grab your tissues. The DNA results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Reed, you are the father.
All right, folks, gather around for the tale of the century. Ms. Brown steps up with her mom, Alicia Brown, both looking like they've just been told they want an all-expenses-paid trip to Mars. Turns out, Ms. Brown's life got turned upside down, thanks to a mysterious man claiming to be her long-lost astronaut dad. This guy, Mr. Hampton, is currently chilling in our courtroom hallway, probably practicing his moonwalk. He's convinced he's got the cosmic evidence to prove he's her star-bound dad.
Ms. Brown, you stand before the court with your mother, say your world was recently turned upside down when you were contacted by a man whom you've never even heard of or claiming to be your birth father. Now that man, Mr. Hampton, is waiting in our courtroom hallway and he will join us in a moment.
Just as you're wondering if this could get any more out of this world, Mr. Hampton launches into a story about trying to claim Ms. Brown amidst a galaxy far, far away. He presents what he claims is a map of the stars as evidence, convinced it'll connect him to Ms. Brown. This pivotal moment is like finding out if you're actually part Jedi, part droid.
I had the opportunity to take you. I met her at the mall. I didn't know whether she wanted me to take you permanently. I cried every minute on the plane.
Do you have any proof of this?
The toys that I first bought her before they left, Your Honor.
Jerome, hand me the evidence, please. So this is a picture of the person, Miss Brown's birth mother.
Yes.
Hold on to your space helmets because Mr. Hampton is about to drop some cosmic knowledge. He's as sure of being Ms. Brown's father as he is that Pluto should still be a planet. His belief is as strong as the Force, especially with his claim to have named a nebula after her. The anticipation for the DNA, do not assume test results, is as palpable as waiting for the next Star Wars sequel.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. The exact date of Ms. Brown's birth is the exact date of your Kayla's birth.
Exactly, Your Honor.
And you named this baby Kayla. When's the last time you saw her? If this is in fact your daughter.
Since she was about 2 weeks old, Your Honor.
About 2 weeks old.
2 weeks old, Your Honor.
Things get even more tangled than headphone wires in your pocket. Mr. Hampton explains his attempts to stop Ms. Brown's adoption by aliens and his battles with the intergalactic child support system. The twist? Ms. Brown's adoptive mother, Alicia, recognizes a photo of a UFO, adding layers to this cosmic mystery. Just when you think you're about to get beamed up for answers, the plot thickens.
To get a paternity test, Your Honor.
I don't know why. I mean, I'm 20. I'm 20 years old.
But she's still my daughter, Your Honor.
It's a long time to go without seeing your child you love so much.
I searched everywhere.
I want to hear from your adoptive mother and first ask you, have you ever seen this picture of your daughter?
Yes, I have.
You have?
Strap in as we dive into a black hole of legal and cosmic confusion. The court tries to unravel the mystery of Mr. Hampton's claims versus the adoption records, uncovering a wormhole of systemic failures and extraterrestrial miscommunications. As we navigate through this space opera, remember, in space, no one can hear you argue.
You don't remember him being...
I've never heard his name.
Never heard his name.
They had me paying child support, Your Honor.
Let me see that paperwork.
They knew.
That doesn't make sense.
You were paying child support.
That's what
Don't they have to determine paternity to be able to make you pay child support?
Well, then they must have proved that I was your father then. There couldn't have been no other man.
I wouldn't have been able to adopt.
Get the tissues ready, not for tears, but for laughing till you cry. Mr. Hampton pours his heart out like a deleted scene from a sci-fi rom-com, expressing his regrets and what-ifs. His thanks to Ms. Brown's adoptive parents for providing her with a universe of love brings us back down to Earth, grounding this intergalactic Tala in the warmth of human and possibly alien connections.
You know, go to a shelter. There are so many resources.
Let me just say this. This has got to be the most incredible mystery that we've ever heard in this courtroom. But the only way we're going to be able to move forward is to get the results. Yes, sir. Would you like to say one more thing before we get to the results?
I've gone through a lot the last 20 years, Your Honor. This is my life, Your Honor.
Buckle up for hyperspace because we're about to hit light speed. In the case of Brona v. Hampton, regarding the Earthling Kyla Brona, Mr. Hampton has been on the edge of his spaceship seat for this DNA result.
20-year-old Kayla Brown. Mr. Hampton, you have desperately waited for this answer. You are not her father.
In a twist straight out of a daytime TV drama, Phelan Hannon drops the bombshell that her mom, on what seemed like the most dramatic moment of her life, revealed that her actual dad is none other than David Dorsey, a guy she's never even bumped into at the grocery store. This revelation has sent her on a quest to court, not for medieval jousting, but to seek paternity proof and a sense of closure. Grab your popcorn, folks, because this is where the plot thickens.
You grew up believing one man was your father until the age of 13 when he said, "I am not your daddy." Defendant David Dorsey is your biological father. You are here to prove paternity or laid eyes on Mr. Dorsey, but will meet him for the very first time.
Yes, ma'am.
Fallon shares those heart-to-heart chats with her mom, where she dropped hints about her true paternity and her past rendezvous with both Kimball and David Dorsey. Stay tuned because the emotional roller coaster is just leaving the station.
At what point did your mother tell you about David Dorsey?
We would have our heart-to-hearts. You know, when she got sick, she was sick my whole entire life. You know, she would be talking about Kimball, she would talk about David. On her deathbed, she told me, "I thought I picked the right one for you, but David's your father."
So just before your mother passed, she says to you, "I thought I picked the right one for you, but David Dorsey is really your biological father."
Yes, ma'am.
Enter David Dorsey, who seems as confused about being Phelan's dad as a cat at a dog show. He admits he wouldn't recognize Phelan's mom if she was in a lineup with cartoon characters. The suspense is killing, and not even a commercial break could cut this tension. Will he remember her mom? Will he not? Stay tuned for the memory game of the century.
This young woman has waited many, many years to meet you. She's been told that you are her biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
You walk through the doors, you walk right past her, no hug. You didn't even really look at her, acknowledge her.
I acknowledged her. I looked at her.
You don't believe you're her biological father?
Not really.
Why?
Because I don't remember her mother at all.
You don't remember her mother.
I don't know her mother.
Despite a photo lineup, Dorsey sticks to his guns, claiming amnesia on the whole mother thing. The courtroom gasps are so loud, you'd think they were giving away free money. But don't flip the channel yet. The drama's just getting started. Will a picture spark 1,000 memories, or will it be a total flop? Only time will tell.
Show that picture to Mr. Dorsey. Do you remember that woman?
No, ma'am.
Miss Hannon, what have you been told about your mother's relationship with Mr. Dorsey?
From our conversations that we used to have is like they talked, like they weren't in a relationship, I guess. Like they talked here and there. I knew that he worked at a fast food restaurant. He was a manager at a fast food restaurant from her and, you know, talked, mingled here and there.
Mr. Dorsey, were you a manager at a fast food restaurant?
No, ma'am, but I worked at a fast food restaurant.
Just when you thought this episode couldn't get any more plot twists, we find out Dorsey was once known as David Watkins. It's like discovering your favorite superhero has an alter ego. This soap opera has more twists than a bag of pretzels. What's next? A long-lost twin? Stick around to find out.
It was a David
My name
Watkins.
used to be David Watkins. I was adopted, and he changed my name to Watkins, and then when...
So now it's getting even more closely connected to you.
I mean, I was well known in the North End. I mean, everybody knew my name.
So what are you thinking? You thinking this woman just made this up?
Your Honor, I don't know this woman.
But it's such a coincidence that Miss Hannon has been called your daughter's name.
She resembles my daughter.
Oh, you admit she resembles your daughter.
When she was younger, yeah.
Melody Dorsey takes the stand, insisting that Falon is her sister, despite their dad's denials. She paints a picture of David as the Clark Kent of the North Seed, minus the capey and tights. The family resemblance debate heats up like a debate club in a sauna. Will DNA prove her right, or is this just wishful thinking with a side of family drama?
You know we are here discussing the paternity as it relates to Miss Hannon.
I'm here to claim my sister. You know, I don't mean to disrespect my dad, but my dad was a Rolling Stone. So he was the man and like was very known on the North Side for being David Watkins, you know, the slayer of women, you know?
Phelan lays her heart on the line, sharing her dreams of belonging to a bigger family. It's a moment so touching, you'd need a heart of stone not to feel a little misty. As we brace for the verdict, it's clear this family puzzle is missing a few pieces. But fear not, the truth is just around the corner, and it promises to be more satisfying than the season finale of your favorite series.
Me and my 3 kids, so I love you. Okay, stop, just don't cry. Don't cry, it's gonna be okay, because like I told you before, you are my sister, period.
Miss Hannon, as you listen to Mr. Dorsey consistently say, I don't even know this woman, I've never even met her, and yet you see this uncanny resemblance to Melody, does it make you feel torn?
The verdict is in, and in a plot twist no one saw coming.
Mr. Dorsey, you are not father.
The episode opens in a courtroom setting where the case of Washup versus Smith is introduced, and boy, does it sound like a season finale already. Ms. Washup has returned to court, this time around the block concerning the paternity of a child, following a previous appearance where her son was determined not to be the father of another child. It's like deja vu, but with more drama and less certainty. Buckle up, this roller coaster is just leaving the station.
This is a case of Washup versus Smith.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Washup, you previously appeared in this courtroom with your son regarding the paternity of the defendant's daughter. Previous time you were in this courtroom,
Yes.
it was determined that your son was not the child's biological father.
Yes.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more tangled, the plot thickens like a good stew. Tensions rise as Ms. Washup accuses Ms. Smith of lying, throwing in doubts about paternity due to Ms. Smith's past academy. Award-deserving performance in deceit. The emotional stakes are sky high, folks, and both parties are laying it all on the line, hoping for a paternity test that reads like a bedtime story with a happy ending. Spoiler alert, reality TV doesn't do fairy tales.
On purpose?
On purpose.
On purpose, yes, I did.
So I
Exactly.
think she
Thank
doing
you.
that. She did it on purpose because someone else did. Because why would you give me the wrong date? Because you wanted this person that was supposed to be the daddy there.
Oh, you feel like she gave you the wrong date because someone else there who's the real biological
Yeah.
father.
Stop.
Yeah.
See, this is why I don't deal with her. That's why I don't deal with her. She lied for free. She lied for fun.
But-
She make up lies.
Here comes the wisdom nugget from Judge Lake, making it rain common sense in the courtroom. She dives deep into the emotional whirlpool, calling for honesty and understanding. The courtroom transforms into a battlefield of feelings and unresolved family dinners. It's more gripping than my grandma's soap operas. And let me tell you, those are legendary. And remember, after every storm comes a rainbow, or at least a very dramatic courtroom revelation.
But not
You
that
are,
one.
no, this is not the point. You're a mother, and you have talked about in this courtroom the way you have sacrificed, provided for your children. You don't ask anybody for anything, you do it yourself. I don't think you can sit down and imagine what it would mean So you're dealing with a woman, I mean, Social Security aside, name aside, all this nonsense aside, she's standing here with a picture frame with her child. And your child deserves to know her.
No, he don't.
No, he does. No, that would be his grandmother.
Okay.
And look, as his mother.
Fasten your seatbelts, because we're approaching the climax at the speed of a reality TV plot twist. The results are in.
Hopkins is the father. Go on and say it. I'm ready. I'm ready. The father. Thank you, baby.
Buckle up, folks, because you're not going to believe this roller coaster. The court session kicks off with a dive into the spicy case of Lyde versus Ellis, where Ms. Lyde throws a curveball by claiming Mr. Ellis, the defendant, is her long-lost biological dad, which he's not buying for a second. Ms. Lyde is heartbroken over Mr. Ellis's not happening stance, especially since she's been under the impression he was her dad for a cool 26 years. Mr. Ellis, on the other hand, drops the bomb that he believes Ms. Lyde's mom was playing the field during their romance, making him more than a little skeptical about his daddy status. And folks, you'll want to grab your popcorn because it only gets wilder from here.
Ms. Lyde, you say that for 26 years you have known only one man, the defendant, Mr. Ellis, to be your biological father. And you're devastated that he is claiming you're not his.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Ellis, you say that Ms. Lyde's mother was unfaithful during your 7-year relationship and that you are certain you are not Lyde's biological father.
Hold your horses, because this twist is about to turn this courtroom drama into a full-blown soap opera. A ghost from the past, in the form of a DNA test supposedly taken while Mr. Ellis was out of the picture, creeps back in. Mr. Ellis insists this test gave him a 99.9%. You are not the father badge, but Ms. Lyde and her mom remember a completely different outcome. As the confusion mounts, we're all left wondering what the real deal is. The suspense is killing me, and I bet it's getting to you too.
When I was away, her mother called child support on. They came and took the DNA test.
You got the results back?
I got the results back. It was 99.9 that I wasn't the father. So I showed her the paperwork.
So what do you want to hear? 99.9% that you were not.
Yes, it was something
the
like
father.
So wouldn't you want to keep some kind of information or record so if I did grow up and I had
No, I would not.
hey,
The only information I needed was I took that piece of paper down to child services and they said I have to pay child support no more.
Just when you thought you'd seen it all, Ms. Lyde lays it all out, sharing how messed up it feels to be caught in this parental ping pong match. She talks about the void of not having a father and how it led her down a rocky road in her own relationships. The courtroom hangs on her every word as she makes it clear she's on a mission for truth. And guess what? The emotional roller coaster is about to hit a loop-de-loop, so stay seated.
I feel like, because me, I'm a mom, and I feel like if you are old enough to, like, what you guys went through was not my fault. And you guys should never have involved me in anything that you guys were going through. I would never put my kids through that. You guys should have settled this the right way, not wait for it to see the outcome of it. This is the outcome
And you're
of
right,
it.
and that's why for years I've been telling your mama to quit lying to you and tell you the truth about who your father is so you find your real father.
I feel like
that's why I called the
truth.
courts.
I deserve
That's
to know
why I
what's
called the
going
courts.
on.
Now, let's sprinkle a little family feud into the mix. A tale of a childhood encounter with Mr. Ellis's mom, Ms. Ellis, adds fuel to the fire. Ms. Lyde recounts a not-so-warm and fuzzy attempt to connect, met with a cold shoulder. Ms. Ellis, however, calls foul, saying the meeting didn't go down like that. With family tensions at an all-time high, you're probably wondering how this soap opera ends. Well, don't wander off now. The climax is just around the corner.
I was 10. I saw her on a trolley we used to live at, and I approached her. I want to introduce myself like, I'm Mr. Ellis's daughter. She told me, get on my face or I will smack you.
What? Miss Ellis, do you remember this incident on the trolley?
She's lying. This little girl slid up, teenager. She said, hi. I said, hello. Do you know me? I said, no. I'm your granddaughter. I said, no, you're not. I said, I know who her daddy is.
As if this story wasn't twisty enough, enter stage left, a legal eagle to shed some light on the mysterious case of the disappearing and reappearing DNA results. Kelly Chang Rickard, a sage in family law, chimes in to explain how the system can sometimes flip-flop more than a politician in election season. With both sides of the story having a ring of truth, the courtroom is on the edge of its seats waiting for the big reveal. And trust me, it's a doozy.
If in fact it was determined that you were her biological father, then I'm wondering why in the world didn't the state, this is why this is all such a mystery. So I want to call upon an attorney in your home state, Kelly Chang Rickard. She's a certified family law expert. Hi, Miss Rickard.
Hi, Judge Lauren Lake. How are you?
Thank you so much for joining us today. We have paternity mystery here. She's been told there was previous testing that indicated that Mr. Ellis was her biological father.
Drum roll, please, because it's time for the grand finale. The envelope of truth finally makes its appearance, decreeing Mr. Ellis as.
Mr. Ellis, you are the father.
Whoa!
I don't believe it.
I knew it. Yes. Huh?
Mr. King, rocking his signature swagger, strolls into the courtroom like it's his birthday party, dropping the bombshell of the century. He's pretty sure he's the biological father of Ms. Holmes' ridiculously cute 10-month-old Kayvon. Flashback to when Ms. Holmes pointed him out in a lineup of potential dads, but now she's playing a game of parental ping pong. Drama alert. Buckle up because the courtroom showdown is just getting started, and it's about to get wild.
Mr. King, you have opened your case today because you are 100% certain that you fathered Ms. Holmes' 10-month-old son, Kayvon. She told you that you are the father, but now says I'm not his daddy. Ms. Holmes, you admit you led Mr. King to believing he was son's father.
The plot thickens, and oh boy, is it saucy. Ms. Holmes fesses up that she might have led Mr. King down the proverbial garden path, letting him believe he was the papa, only to snatch that notion away faster than you can say paternity test. The intrigue. This bombshell confession sets the stage for a roller coaster of drama and a whirlwind of confusion about who the real daddy is. Hang tight because the tension is gearing up to skyrocket.
When she wants something, she calls me and needs me. But now when we are having a complication, she's so quick to say, oh, you're not the father. What is you doing? Why you keep sending me stuff? Why can't you just get ghosted? And why can't you just leave us alone?
So she's sending mixed messages.
Yes, Your Honor.
She's telling you at some point you are the father, some point you aren't.
When he needs clothes, hey, can you send your son some clothes? I'm okay with that. Clothes, money, diapers, whatever she needed.
Did you catch that curveball? The judge, showcasing the patience of a saint and possibly a dash of divine intervention, dives headfirst into the tangled web of Ms. Holmes' flip-flopping tales about Mr. King's paternity saga. Mr. King spills the tea, and it's scalding. He dishes on how Ms. Holmes' story of who's the daddy seemed to change more often than a chameleon. You won't believe the juicy details they're about to spill next. Grab your popcorn.
Knowing that he may or may not father, but that you truly believed he was not the father.
Yes.
Are you playing both sides of the fence, Ms. Holmes?
Yes. That was.
Well, let's go ahead and be honest then.
I just want Kayvon to have what he needs. When I'm having a hard time and I need something, I know King's gonna give it to me.
Things are heating up. In a fiery exchange, Ms. Holmes and Mr. King take us on a nostalgia trip to their high school days, unearthing old flames and secret sneaky rendezvous. Their past is a treasure trove of secrets and half-truths, exposing the twisted roots of their current predicament. Don't wander off, the revelations are just getting started, and they're absolutely scorching.
Sexual things at the staircase in high school?
Yes.
No, Your Honor, that's not true. Like she said before, yes, we had sex and me at the staircase, but it was nothing, probably just like a little dance or just a kiss.
A dance.
A dance.
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Like maybe just a twerk.
Okay,
So
a
you
twerk
just
at
gonna
the
sit here.
staircase.
Okay.
I've never heard of this, Jerome.
Now, we twerking at staircase.
We did more than twerk at the staircase, okay? Like.
You can't make this stuff up. Amidst the barrage of legal jargon, the judge cracks a joke about the couple's impromptu and fiery reunion in Texas, spotlighting their uncanny knack for making hasty and heated decisions. This lighthearted moment cuts through the tension and casts a spotlight on the passionate yet perplexing nature of their relationship. The drama is far from over. Keep watching because it spirals into even crazier territory.
Go to the movies. I mean, you say you're gonna go to Texas and you just immediately get a hotel room and start having sex?
It's because when we was in high school, we couldn't do what we wanted. And it's like when I saw him, it was like old feelings, arrived. So I was like, okay, let's just get this done.
So you didn't even say we gonna go on a date, nothing. Y'all just go to a hotel and start having sex 4 and 5 times a day?
To dinner. I mean, I'm not that cheap.
Buckle up for this bombshell. Mr. King uncovers not just about Ms. Holmes' pregnancy, but also her sneaky backslide into the arms of her ex. Hello, plot twist. This double dealing adds layers of betrayal and turns the plot into a soap opera on steroids. Hold tight because the next revelation is a total game changer, and you'll need to see it to believe it.
You had 3 days worth of sex with Mr. King. Was that protected or unprotected?
That was definitely unprotected.
Then get back with your boyfriend. You also had unprotected sex with the boyfriend.
Yes.
And how soon after that did you find out you were pregnant?
I found out in the end of November. So at that time, I was with the other guy.
So Mr. King, while this is happening, you have no idea?
No, Your Honor.
Because she's cut you off.
Completely. No explanation, no.
Brace yourselves, folks. We've hit the climax of this episode with the DNA results that shock everyone.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. King, you are not the father. I know that wasn't the answer you wanted, Mr. King. I'm sorry.
Miss Yancey kicks things off with a teary testimony about the emotional roller coaster her boyfriend, Mr. Thomas, has thrown her on by denying paternity of their cute, albeit controversial, 7-month-old son, Kahari. She shares how this paternity drama is wreaking havoc on their love life and her mental peace, emphasizing just how much hinges on what the judge decides next. It's like a reality TV show, but in court.
You testify that his paternity denial is tearing you apart. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You
you claim that after finding pictures of Miss Yancey and the baby with another man, you are convinced you are not Kahari's biological father. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Plot twist incoming. Mr. Thomas steps up, throwing a curveball with doubts about his role as Kahari's dad, all thanks to some incriminating photos of Miss Yancey cozying up with another dude and the kiddo. His suspicion isn't just coming out of nowhere. It's backed by snapshots and a history of Miss Yancey's sketchy moves. And bam! He drops the paternity challenge right there in the courtroom. Grab your popcorn, folks. This is getting good.
Well, it's important because, well, we've been having a few issues ever since my baby was born. You know, he was there through the entire pregnancy, and we would go back and forth after the baby was born about, you know, the baby doesn't look like him, the baby looks like me, or, you know, the baby.
So you feel like this paternity resolution is important in terms of saving your relationship?
Yes, Your Honor.
So your relationship's on the line, Mr. Thomas?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Talk about a can of worms. The courtroom turns into a hot mess with Miss Yancey and Mr. Thomas airing their dirty laundry for all to hear. We've got accusations flying left and right, revealing a backstory filled with cheating scandals and trust issues galore. This spicy exchange lays bare the messy foundation of their relationship and the troubled waters their little one is floating in. You'll want to hear what's next. Trust me.
Giving my friend a ride, we were going out. He seen me at the gas station with him. All this stuff came out. He started cussing me out and texting me and calling me out my name. And
well, yeah, I
he
mean,
was following me in my car.
If you're in a relationship with somebody,
we weren't in a
you
relationship.
don't go and give another man.
But I thought y'all said you all were broken up.
Right, exactly. When we were breaking up,
that's not
correct. To me, I felt like we were over.
Wait, it gets juicier. Picture this. Miss Yancey breaks the big news to Mr. Thomas. Surprise, you're going to be a dad. There's joy, there's confetti, and then record scratch. She hits him with a maybe it's not yours via text. Talk about a buzzkill. This crucial moment is where all the doubt started seeding, leading us to this paternity circus we're all witnessing. What's a court session without a little drama, right?
That she took a pregnancy test and she's pregnant. And I'm like, you know, I was happy for the simple fact that over the years we were trying to conceive and have a baby. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, yes, it finally happened. And then after she told me, she left and texted me that the baby might not be mine.
That's correct. And I told him, and once I started thinking about conception date and the day I conceived, we were on a breakup, and I was seeing someone else.
Just when you think it can't get more dramatic, hold my gavel. The tension cranks up a notch when Mr. Thomas stumbles up on those damning photos of Miss Yancey, another man, and their toddler living it up on a family trip. This bombshell ramps up the paternity stakes, shining a spotlight on potential trust cracks big enough to drive a truck through. It's edge of your seat stuff, folks.
Going through her phone, and I noticed that she has pictures with Kahari and the other man that could possibly be the father.
Oh, really? Why were you taking pictures with the other guy, Miss Yancey?
My mom looked at him and she told me straight up, I don't think that that's Maurice's son, and I think that you should get in contact with his biological father.
We're together. Why couldn't you have just told me? Why hide it and make it a big deal? You know what I mean?
I wasn't trying to hide it. I just felt like there was a particular time and place for that.
And here's the big reveal. Drum roll, please. The DNA results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Thomas, you are not the father. I'm very sorry.
It's okay, Your Honor.
The episode starts with the court clerk rolling out the drama carpet, introducing the spicy case of Genold versus Hardin. Judge Lake is at the helm, and boy, does it look like we're in for a paternity dispute that's juicier than a primetime soap opera. Allegations are flying about paternity denial because apparently child support payments can really stir the pot.
Ms. Genold, you and your sister agree that the man you've known to be your father is denying paternity. Yet you disagree about why you've come to court today. One of you is hoping the DNA test will prove he is your biological father.
Here's Mr. Hardin spilling his guts, saying he's been nearly drowned by child support payments. We're talking a whopping over $90,000. He's throwing shade, doubting he's the daddy of the two daughters at the heart of this mess, blaming it all on a roller coaster past with their mom, complete with a side of alleged infidelity. Oh, and it gets better.
Now, Mr. Hardin, you argue that you've been buried in child support payments totaling more than $90,000 for two daughters you don't believe you fathered. Furthermore, you claim that while involved with their mother, you caught her in several compromising situations with other men.
Cue the violins, folks. Shane Ice, one of the daughters caught in this family feud, steps up and pours her heart out. She talks about her daddy issues, literally waiting on her dad, who was a no-show more often than a canceled sitcom. She's looking at her friends' Instagram perfect families and feeling left out. Grab your tissues and wait till you hear what her dad has to say about this. this.
15 years ago is the last time you saw him?
He would always say he was gonna come see us, and he never did. He would just always lie, and that was it.
I wanted this man so bad in my life. I played basketball, I ran track. All my friends had both mom and dad there. I wanted him I watched through my windows and watched raindrops fall, and he wasn't there.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more tangled, Mr. Harden fires back. He's not just playing defense, he's trying to rewrite the playbook. Claims it's all the mom's fault he couldn't see his girls, tossing in more doubts about whether he's even related to them, all thanks to mom's past playbook moves. And guess what? The plot thickens from here.
I waited and waited and waited. He never showed.
Your Honor, their mother didn't allow me to come around them. There's no way I would not want to be around my daughters, Your Honor.
You're lying right there.
I asked for a paternity test from day one. Your Honor, I've always doubted because I used to catch Ms. Gannell with several different men during the course of our relationship.
Things are heating up now. Judge Lake dives deep, like a reality show host digging for the most embarrassing secret. They dissect the timeline of Mr. Harden's relationship with Ms. Gannell, right around when their first daughter, Shanice, was supposedly conceived. And oh, there might be other players in this game. Stay tuned, because this mystery is unraveling.
Could be one more person.
Yeah.
Okay, Shanice, did you know this? So you do know this. Who's on the birth certificate for Shanice?
Just me.
No father listed. You say you owe almost $90,000 between the two girls. So if you're not on the birth certificate, how did he end up being named father and responsible to pay the child support?
I was told from the state of Minnesota that when they approached him in Indiana,
Here comes a curveball. Mr. Harden talks about how a missed court date turned into an epic fail, slapping him with a default judgment that pegged him as the father and hooked him for child support without even a paternity test. It's like missing a final exam and still getting graded, but don't go anywhere. The drama's just dialing up.
Did you sign any documents?
Judge Lake, I never signed any parental documents, no birth certificates. I was issued a court order because I was late for court in the initial court date. They actually took my truck driver license, Your Honor. I was a semi-truck driver. I used to drive trucks, saying that that I'm the father of these two beautiful young ladies here, Your Honor.
Can you believe this? Amidst battling the financial tide and struggling to keep his head above water, Mr. Harden has been shouting from the rooftops for a paternity test. But alas, money's tight, and the court isn't handing out tests like free samples. This segment's packed with frustration and a ticking time bomb of family secrets about to explode.
Your Honor, I begged for a paternity test.
5 and 26 years old, you had all this time to do it. You should have did this way back when. Why are you letting us call you dad when you doubted this whole time?
You don't understand.
No, I don't understand, so explain it.
I'd like to
I'm trying to
understand.
explain it right now about this. I begged the court to please give me a
You
paternity
took me to
test.
court last year to modify your
tried.
child support payment.
The money. You never,
tried.
when you started paying child support payment, that's when you wanted DNA tests. You didn't have none of this before.
Oh, it's getting hot in here. Mr. Harden throws down a bombshell, accusing Ms. Ginnild of a blockbuster-worthy plot twist. She might have hinted the kids aren't his. She's denying it faster than a celebrity dodges paparazzi. But the tension, it's palpable. And just when you think it can't get more intense, the DNA results are about to drop.
Their mom actually told me that they weren't mine, actually.
What?
Also, too.
No, I
she
never
told
did.
me that.
Never
She
did.
came out of her mouth with...
When did she tell you?
She told me that she wanted me to contact the other fellow that she used to date that may be a possibility. She
No, I
asked
never
me
did
to give
say
me
that.
her number, and she said that she doesn't know, and they may not be mine, period.
And boom goes the dynamite. DNA test results are in. And guess what?
In the case of Gannald v. Harden, when it comes to Shanice Gannald, Mr. Harden, you are her father.
I told you. I told you. 6 years. I told you.
So, Ms. Vaught drops the bombshell that Mr. Lindsay decided to call it quits on their romance because he's having a paternity panic. She's totally determined to prove that yes, indeed, he is the daddy of her daughter, Shelby. Meanwhile, the tension between these two could cut through a steak, making it the main dish of this whole courtroom drama.
Ms. Vaught, you say your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Lindsay, abrupt ended your relationship due to paternity doubt. But today, you want to prove he is your daughter Shelby's dad. Mr. Lindsay, you say the plaintiff, Ms. Vaught, has committed paternity fraud. You claim she deceived you into believing that you fathered her daughter, but today plan to prove you are not her father.
And just when you thought it couldn't get any spicier, Mr. Lindsay throws back his own hot potato, accusing Ms. Vaught of playing him with some paternity fraud shenanigans. He's all in, denying any daddy duties, and vowing to prove he's not Shelby's father. The stakes are sky high now, with him pushing for a lie detector test to check if Ms. Vaught has been playing the field.
You are countersuing for a lie detector test to determine the extent of Ms.
Vaught infidelity.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Vaught, well, the stakes are pretty high today.
Yes, they are, Your Honor.
Explain.
I wouldn't place a baby on someone that I didn't know, like didn't believe was her father. You get what I'm saying?
Mr. Lindsay, acting like a regular Sherlock, uncovers messages on Ms. Vaught's Instagram that hint at some mystery dude being told to knock on the right window of her place. Talk about sneaky! This little nugget of gossip throws another layer of suspicion into the mix, making everyone second guess what's really going on in Ms. Vaught's love life.
Somebody was in her, I don't know what they call it, her little Instagram. I guess they was supposed to be knocking on the window. How somebody knocking on your window when you supposed to be talking to me?
You said somebody that on her Instagram was knocking on her window.
That's what the message says.
Oh, what did it say?
Knock on the right window. She was telling the person knock on the right window.
Here's where it gets juicy. Ms. Vaught gets all emotional, swearing up and down that she never doubted Mr. Lindsay was Shelby's bio dad and claims she would have spilled the beans if there were any. But Mr. Lindsay isn't buying it, countering with a supposed confession from her that Shelby might not be his, which she says was just a heat of the moment thing. Drama alert.
She told me the baby wasn't mine. So what I'm supposed to do?
And that's, Your Honor, that's the out of anger, because for him to say, because he would say to me, Your Honor, oh, I don't feel that's my baby. I don't feel that's my baby. Why would you say that when I'm loyal to you? I would have told him. Honestly.
And Ms. Vaught, I have to tell you like I tell every other young woman in this courtroom.
And I understand
Once
that.
you say that, it's a statement that even if you take back
Plot twist. Mr. Lindsay whips out a calendar. Yes, a literal calendar, to try to prove that the baby-making timeline doesn't match up with his guest appearances. This calendar is now Exhibit A, folks, in the Who's the Daddy mystery that seems to have more twists than a pretzel.
Mr. Lindsay, you're saying that's incorrect, that you were not with her?
I was not there. I don't know if she got me confused with somebody.
And you see,
but I
that's
was not
disrespectful.
there.
How could you open your mouth and say something like that?
And that hurts your feelings.
And it does, because I love this man, and he know I love him. If you felt like that, you could have walked and did your business. You're not chained to be with me. You should have let that be expressed. Don't sit around wasting my time. I'm a daddy's girl. Why would I want my daughter not to know her father?
And bam, the court drops the results of the lie detector test, showing that Ms. Vaught might have been playing away games, if you catch my drift. This bombshell knocks her credibility into a cocked hat, and suddenly Mr. Lindsay's side of the story starts looking a bit more believable.
We have administered that test, and I have the results. Ron, may I have the envelope? Thank you. You were asked, did you have sexual contact with the man who sent you an Instagram message about which window to knock on? You said no. The lie detector determined you were being deceptive.
That mean that I was
you was
lying?
You're
lying.
not telling the truth.
I was lying?
That's what that means, deceptive.
Okay,
You was
Your
lying.
Honor.
Cue the dramatic music because here comes the big reveal the paternity test results are in.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Lindsay, you are the father.
Your Honor, I'm so happy. Can I have that, please? Can I have that?
Oh, you want to put this up in the house?
Yep, I sure am.
You're going to put this on the refrigerator.
Every family member.